Well, today in our adventures in prosperity, we are going to be diving into or starting to discuss what Wallace Wattles talks about in his book in chapter 14, the impression of increase. This is about being a person of increase. That's what we're talking about this morning. How to take this power that exists within us into the world and in all of our dealings and our transactions and our business with others. I'm Alan Vukas, and I'm so glad that you could join me in this video this morning, this Facebook Live. So over the past few weeks, every day I try to take some time to, well, every day I do take some time. Every day I try to share it with you as well, Monday through Friday during the week, as far as to contemplate some of the principles of prosperity as Wallace Wattles talks about in his book, The Science of Getting Rich. This was a book that was written in 1910, and this was the book that The Secret was based on, and there have been millions of people over the past more than 100 years who have taken the principles of this book and have applied it in their own lives, and in so doing have caused themselves to awaken from the trance of scarcity, the trance of not enough time, not enough energy, not enough power, not enough money, not enough love. That the not enough that the world tells us is reality. We're told and trained from very early on that there's only so much pie, and you better get the early bird catches the worm. Money doesn't grow on trees. We have been told and impressed and conditioned. Don Miguel Ruiz uses the phrase domestication. We have been domesticated to accept a certain view of the world, that there's not enough, and we need to make sure we get ours before someone else gets it or they take it from us. Now, if you think about that type of way of looking at the world, the way that we think about something and influences and impacts the actions that we take. It also impacts what we believe is possible if we're already convinced that there's not enough. When ideas show up, and ideas are the currency of the universe, when ideas show up that contradict what we already accept as true, then we set those aside. And that's why there are million-dollar ideas that are floating around, and for many of us, they're just bouncing right off of our heads because they cannot gain entrance to our thought because we're already convinced of some other thought, a thought of competition versus a thought of creation, creativity. Now, so this other way of thinking, Wallace Wattles talks about in his book, and if we practice a new way of thinking and he calls a certain way of thinking and of acting, if we're doing this in the right way, and I'm saying the right way, that's a phrase that he uses in his book with a capital R, mixed case, capital R, capital W. If we are living in the right way, congruent with the principles of prosperity, then we can be certain that we are in the flow and that we are making it welcome. So where we need to start is with our thoughts, thinking in a certain way. And so because if we are thinking in a certain way, then we are open to then take actions in a certain way, and we're in alignment with thoughts or ideas that can inspire us to act in a certain way. And as he says, it's a science, and by doing that, then we can be sure that we're no longer, that once we wake up from this trance, or we're in process of waking up from the trance and putting into action those things that we learn and we discuss, that we are, instead of this scarcity consciousness, if we are thinking and acting in alignment with a prosperity consciousness, the way the universe operates, then we can be certain that then we are now making welcome the flow that's all around us. So you can check out some of the earlier videos, but let's go ahead and I want to share with you this very important idea the impression of increase. Here, chapter 14. There are some milestone chapters in this book. It's a very short book. In the Tartar Penguin edition, there are only, I think there's 16 chapters, and let me just confirm that. There are 17, but it's 118 pages to the end of The Science of Getting Rich. So we are very close to the end here. But of this book, there are 4 chapters that are very important. Chapters 4, 7, 11, and 14. 14 is to me the sort of the extra. There's 3 that are key, and then there's a 4th that if you're going to get this one, make sure that you include this one as well. But in chapter 14, the impression of increase, why this chapter is so important, he starts at the very beginning. He says, whether you change your vocation or not, your actions for the present must be those pertaining to the business in which you're now engaged. Of course, yeah, whatever business you're engaged in, whatever work that you're doing, whatever your creative vocation is, as a means to increase the flow of abundance in your life. And I'm right now in this specific example, I'm talking about finances. But let's say if we're talking about whether you change your vocation or not, your actions for the present must be those pertaining to the business in which you're now engaged. Well, let's say you want to be rich, and your idea of rich is to successfully complete a book that you've been working on. So rich would mean I have successfully written a book, nonfiction, a novel. Well, maybe you're not writing novels now, or maybe your writing is not, your actions need to be congruent with the business in which you're in. So if you are an author, then your actions need to be congruent with that of an author if you want to be successful in that domain. But even if you're not yet in that domain, and that is part of the vision of the life that you would love to live, then where you're at right now, so maybe right now your business is not of an author, but it is of someone who wants to be an author, someone who is working and doing the job that you have currently. Well, you need to, whether you change or not, whatever business you're in, you're now engaged, you need to be making, he goes in the next line, you need to be making a constructive use of that business that you're already established in. You need to be doing your work in a certain way. And here is what this chapter is about. Whether you're talking about the business that you're engaged in your vision, or the business that you're engaged in right now and that is in process of getting to this new business, it needs to be done in a certain way. And the certain way is, the key thought of all of your efforts must be to convey to their minds, or to those around you, the impression of increase. The impression of increase. Now, what does this mean? Well, increase, he says, is the urge that is within all of us, all living beings, that are seeking a fuller expression. The fuller expression, the urge to, he says, the desire for increase is inherent in all nature. It is the fundamental impulse of the universe. All human activities are based on the desire for increase. People are seeking more food, more clothes, better shelter, more luxury, more beauty, more knowledge, more pleasure. Increase in something, more life. And that urge for increase is the urge of life itself, this formless intelligence that is within us that's seeking a fuller expression. And we are tuned into that urge for increase through our longings and our discontent. By the urge that is within us for better or more, or even the desire to have less of that. That is a desire for more freedom. Freedom from maybe the unwanted. And here is what he says, that why this is important for us to be interested in increase, because he says here the law of perpetual increase is set forth by Jesus in the parable of the talents. Only those who gain more retain any. And from him who hath not shall be taken away, even that which he hath. So, increase of life. Life is always seeking to expand and evolve. And if we're not on that growing edge, then what we can know, then if it's ripe, it's rotting. If we are not moving forward, then we are actually moving backwards, because life is evolving and expanding, and we need to be in that current of increase. And that is why we have the desires that we do. But how do we do this? And I'm going to wrap this up. And here on page 97, he says a lot of it, and here is really the reason why. Why do we need to be interested in all of this? Why do we need to be in this? As I just mentioned, if we're not moving forward, we're moving backwards. If it isn't on the growing edge, then it is death. But he says here, people will go where they are given increase, and the Supreme, which desires increase in all, and which knows all, will move toward you, men and women who've never heard of you. Your business will increase rapidly, and you will be surprised at the unexpected benefits which will come to you. You will be able from day to day to make larger contributions, secure greater advantages, and to go on into a more congenial vocation if you desire to do so. And why is it important for us to be a person of increase? To be interested in this increase, to be in the flow, to be congruent with that urge of life of increase, because as we step into that energy of increase and expansion, then we are actually then drawing, we are a magnet for that which matches the increase. As we show up in a larger way, as we begin to play on a larger stage, as we begin to give more value, use value than we are receiving in cash value, then life begins to flow into our experience. As we stand on a larger stage, then what begins to be mirrored to us is the energy and the resources and everything necessary, the environment to match that larger stage. So regardless of what your desire is for better and more, if it's more business or different business, if it is more love, if it is more opportunities, if it is more strength and vitality, then as you begin to step into that, then it begins to flow into your life from avenues. And you know what? Have you ever said it just showed up out of the blue? It came out of the blue. Out of the blue, I got a phone call. The blue is this thinking substance. So how do we do this? One idea right here, how to be a person of increase, how to radiate this impression onto those in your life, is to put the thought of increase into everything that you're doing. And you can convey, on page 97, you can convey this impression by holding the unshakable faith that you, yourself, are in the way of increase. And letting this faith inspire, fill, and permeate every action. Do everything that you do in the firm conviction that you are an advancing personality and you are giving advancement to everyone. Feel that you're getting rich and that in so doing you're making others rich and conferring benefits on all. Simply feel the faith and let it work out in every transaction. Let every act and tone and look express the quiet assurance that you are getting rich and that you are already rich. To live a life of faith, to know that you are on track, that your good is being worked out for you. You see, many times I'll tell you, even in my own experiences, I read that. I realize that while, yes, I've taken actions in different areas and I have a clear vision, but am I convinced in my own mind that everything that is working out today, that everything that I'm involved with, every person that I am connected to in whatever way, and however that happens, that transaction occurs, than what I know within me. If I don't know within me that this is life working out my good, and that I am a channel, as this person is a channel for my good, I am a channel for their good as well. That life has brought us together in this action for us to bless each other and to support one another in our own desires and our own dreams. See, by knowing this, then we are a person of increase, and we are radiating out that we are an advancing person. And this is the means by its working out. This transaction, this interaction, this moment even between you and I. What I want to know, and I want to anchor in prayer here today, is that you and I are already connected to Source. And Source is flowing into our lives from every direction, our good. But in order for us to be open to that good, then we need to be knowing. We need to have the faith that we have the purpose, we have the faith, we have the gratitude, we're thinking in a certain way, we are taking action on what is in front of us with that knowing. And because we're taking the action and thinking in a certain way, then we can be sure with gratitude that we are advancing and bringing this into every transaction and every interaction. Then we can be sure that we are a means also. We are a channel for others' good, and they are a channel for us. We are open to our minds are open to the ideas where they might not have been open before. So when people show up in your life today, they're not here to take something from you or to take a piece from you. They are a means for you to advance. They are a channel for you. They are an opportunity for you to give value so that you then can continue to receive that increased value. This is just a couple ideas. This is a meaty chapter, and so we'll talk again about it on Monday as well. But join me in knowing this today. I know that you and I are a person of increase. And how I know this to be true is because the life that is in you and me, it is the urge of increase, to expand, to evolve, for better and for more. And so I enter into agreement with that urge for better and more today, knowing that it is life itself that is seeking to express on a larger level. And I declare for you and for me, because life is what is setting us in motion and has set it all in motion, there is nothing that can stand in the way of our good, not even our own limited thinking that we may have had up till now. Maybe our actions we may have sabotaged consciously or unconsciously. But what I declare and know right here in this moment is that you and I are a person of increase. And not only are we impressed by this urge for increase, but as we move throughout this day and throughout this weekend, that increase, that is what we radiate out to those around us. We play on a larger stage, and you and I are advancing men and women, advancing into the life that we would love to have. Advancing into the life that life is seeking to express by means of you and me. We're out of the way. As Emerson says, to remove our bloated nothingness out of the way. That is what we do right here and now by saying yes to life, by saying yes to increase, by saying yes to advancement, and saying yes to every opportunity, every transaction, every interaction that we are engaged in today. Life is working it out by means of us, and we allow it to be with great gratitude by saying, and so it is. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I hold the space for you today that you are a person of increase, and life is increasing you at each and every moment, especially right here and now in this moment. Peace and love. Namaste.